Hello and welcome back to the Book, Business, and Brand Building Summit. I'm your host, Jesse Krieger, joined today by a good friend, a fellow author, somebody I'm very excited for all of you to meet, Rosetta Thurman. Rosetta, how are you doing?
Hello, everyone. I am beautiful. It's a beautiful day here in Hawaii, and I'm excited to talk about books and branding and business with you.
In Hawaii and could pass for Greece too.
Yes, this is my backdrop. I love to have inspiring backdrops in my office, and this is Greece. So I am in Greece and Hawaii at the same time, actually.
I agree with you on that front in terms of inspiring backdrops. I like to look at that too.
Yes, very cool.
Let me just give a little introduction and background on Rosetta and I, because it's really a great story. And here's her book, Launch Your Business.
Hey.
The 5-step solution to do what you love, quit your job, and have the freedom to travel and live life on your own terms. Published no less by Lifestyle Entrepreneurs Press.
Yes.
And it's quite a story because I believe, Rosetta, you first found out about me and my work through another online summit, the Superhero Summit.
I did.
Which was back in late 2014. And I had just opened enrollment for my author training program. And Rosetta joined, and she was sort of stealth. Like we were going through, I didn't, place her name so much because some people were extremely active and some people were sort of like laying back. But then I get this email, I think a month or so after, I forget exactly when. And it was like, hey, my name's Rosetta. I was in your program. I have this community of like 20,000 people, and I've got a book, and can you publish it? Do you think I'd be a right fit? And I'm just looking at this like, would not that I get an email like this every day. My life would be so rich. So and then just to sort of stage this interview / conversation, which is going to provide so much value. On our very first conversation, not only did we agree on publication terms for her book, she also invited me to speak at her event of the same name, Launch Your Business Live, in Atlanta, and I couldn't turn that down. And then we even decided right then, look, let's make your book launch on one of the days on your live event. And we did. And I guess, as they say, the rest is sort of history.
It is. I mean, it's just a testament to you and your brilliance. Like, I love the way your mind works. That's what I told my trial as happy Black women, that it takes a certain predictive mind to be able to get on a phone call with somebody and identify all the opportunities that we had to not just launch this book, but bring it to my community and have them get resources to launch their books, but then also take my book all the way to the top on a day when all of my tribe members were going to be in the room. It was just a beautiful strategy that came together. Amazing, thanks to you. So,
but this is about me, actually. This is all about you, which I appreciate.
But I don't think that you would say that yourself, so I need to say it for you.
Well, well said. I guess what I would say is, at your event, it all worked out in almost record time. We got your book done in less than 2 months, meaning publication and launch ready. And then you had the experience of having your book be #1 book on how to start a business on Amazon, with 100+ people in the room. And I think that event worked out very well for you.
Yeah.
And perhaps, I remember
highest grossing event in terms of sales, and definitely memorable and transformational for everybody that attended.
Myself included. I even, I knew I had to get in. So Rosetta has this huge community called Happy Black Woman. And I knew, look, there I am, the white male who's the publisher. And so on the first party night, the day before I was going to speak, I was like, I got to get in with these people so I don't just airdrop onto stage and they're like, who is this guy? So you had our 80s funk night, and it was so fun, just dancing, and I was in my socks and everybody was laughing. And
yeah, it was fun. I mean, business can and should be fun. Otherwise, why are we doing it? We might as well go work for a job.
Exactly. So I think the result was I was accepted as an honorary Happy Black Woman.
Yes, exactly. Jesse's our honorary Happy Black Woman, in case you guys did not know.
Title I can be proud of. But really, I remember sitting there, Rosetta, after the event in the green room, and just talking. And I was like, I think for sure next year you're gonna have $1 million business, and you know, you don't have to say whether or not that's the case, but I know your business has continued to grow and just soar since that time last year.
Yeah, I mean, we are definitely on track to do $1 million year this year. And it's incredible because, basically we did $500,000 in revenue last year, the whole year. And this year already, that's been our revenue. And I just have to say that a lot of people do not realize that you don't need a whole lot in your business to make that much revenue. I mean, Launch Your Business has been the core of so much that I've done. And the book is just one piece. The book is one of my cornerstones that people can get and learn about my structures and my strategies. But there's an event behind it. There is a 6-week course behind it. There is a mastermind program behind it. And that's what really has taken me to multiple 6 figures in my business thus far.
I love it. I love it because, of course, here we are in the book, business, and brand building summit. We're not looking at books and just in isolation. And of course, the overarching theme here is how do you really leverage a book to build your business and brand? And Rosetta, I'd just love to hear, maybe now that we've gotten the introduction piece out, a little bit about, how you ultimately got into this line of work and built your community to the extent that, you wrote the book and it's now grown into a multifaceted business that's just helping thousands and thousands of people.
Cool. Well, I have a lot to share with everyone on the summit, and I don't really get to share this very often, so I'm excited for the opportunity. But just to give you an idea of what I do and how I got to where I am, I run a community called happyblackwoman.com, and what I do is I help women create their ideal lives, the lives that they really want to live, not necessarily the lives that everyone else thinks they should have. So it's a community for women who want more. They want to be able to quit their job, do what they love, and have the freedom to travel and live life on their own terms, whether that is, renting, an online training business from the Bahamas, or actually staying at home with their kids and doing coaching over the phone. We want freedom. We want freedom, and my community is full of freedom seekers, and I am the main freedom seeker. So
yes,
I started.
You're in Hawaii now. You've been to Indonesia. You've spent extended amounts of time in all sorts of exciting destinations while growing and running your business.
While growing and running my business, right?
I mean, it's actually part and parcel to your business as well. You're running masterminds. You're running retreats in nice destinations. I'd love for you to help, paint that picture and really help people understand that business not only should be fun, it is fun, and you kind of have to make it fun, which is a big part of the journey. Right.
Well, I can tell what I believe is that anyone can replicate my journey and my success if you're willing to put yourself out there. Jesse talks about, the lifestyle entrepreneur. And, that was me before I even heard of that term. So I essentially started my business in 2010 as a blog. So for those of you wondering, how do you start branding yourself and building a tribe? I have an amazing tribe, and it is very large at this point, but it's 6 years in, right? I started in 2010, and I started blogging about my experiences. You don't need to be an expert to start a blog. You don't need to be, already a published author to start a blog. In fact, your blog is going to be the launch pad for your book, for your brand, and for your business. So I was just writing about how I had recently quit my job. I had went natural. I started wearing an afro. I just became this picture of a liberated Black woman who, had her own business, was wearing her hair, wild and free. And I was talking about what I was doing to create my life as a happy Black woman. That's my identity. And I was just writing on this blog, and it started to create other people who were drawn to it. And they wanted to know more. They wanted to connect with me. They wanted to work with me before I even had anything to sell them. And we started having these meetups around the country, and it became a business. And I took that business full time in 2013. And all the while I was exemplifying what it meant to be a happy Black woman. So those of you who have some type of brand, number one, it is essential to name your brand. Jesse has lifestyle entrepreneur. I have Happy Black Woman, and then I have different programs underneath that brand. But it's so important to be able to name your brand something that other people can get behind. How many of us want to be a lifestyle entrepreneur? I do,
I think
right?
Yeah, it's such a great point, and it's such an important takeaway. And it's actually why I call this the Book Business and Brand Building Summit, because that's almost the overarching piece. I mean, I think it's really served you well, and you are like the greatest exponent of a happy, liberated Black woman. And people, I believe, are just so drawn to that because it's such an authentic part of who you are. And I guess that's one big takeaway for sure. And I am thankful that I gave my book the title Lifestyle Entrepreneurs, the very last thing before publication.
Yeah.
Thank God I did, because like this wave of people that identify with it has helped, quite frankly, the success of the book. And that's exactly why I called my publishing company Lifestyle Entrepreneurs Press as well.
Yeah.
So a big lesson on branding, right? This isn't Jesse Krieger Publishing, it's Lifestyle Entrepreneurs Press. It's not Rosetta Thurman traveling the world. It's the Happy Black Woman community, and it's something people can identify with. Do you want to share a little bit more about that? Because it seems like it started organically through you sharing on your blog, but now there's probably a number of ways that your community helps reinforce and evolve that experience of the brand and the community itself.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in the beginning, you have an idea of what your brand means, and you think it's a logo, and you think it's all the colors and your website and all that, but it really is the experience, the experience and what your community sees when they see those words. I always ask my clients to think of 3 words, and I call this your 3-word brand exercise. Think of 3 words that you want to be known for. 3 words that you want your tribe to think of when they think of you. And then all your marketing can be around that. So I want to be known for being informative, inspiring, and motivating. So what's informative is when you're giving your how-tos and all of that. What's inspiring is when I'm actually doing what my ideal client wants to do, travel the world. If you are, a health coach and you got flat abs, you should be showing yourself like working out and all those different things so people can kind of point and say, I want that. I want to be a part of that. That's what I want. That's the tribe I want to be a part of. And then motivational is actually calling people to take action, whether it's to purchase one of my products or to go take some action in their life, to motivate them to not just read and share and like, but actually go and do, because that's what creates transformation. So strategically, I try to embody my 3-word brand, not the brand that other people think. It's the brand that you want to be known for. It has to come from within you. And so when you think of those 3 brand words, you look at how you can strategically do that and be that and show that in your business. Instagram has been amazing for that for me, for the inspiring part and connecting with my audience that way. Just the things that you do in your life that will resonate with your tribe, with your ideal clients. That is really what has catapulted my brand to be open and to be sharing what it is that my tribe will resonate with.
I think that's a great exercise that, honestly, if you're watching this video right now, you should take some time, either now or just afterwards, and write down what 3 words best exemplify your brand as you see it. And I was smiling as you were saying that, because, for me, how I've always described the lifestyle entrepreneur, brand is as having a lifestyle of travel, freedom, and opportunity. I was like, oh, there it is. I did your 3-word brand exercise. And that actually becomes a part of all of the communication, all of the graphic design, all of the products and programs you have. How do you think of your brand in relation to all of the, the specific ways that you work with people, help people, support people, etc.?
Yeah, well, definitely the next step after really thinking about what your brand is going to be, you want to be looking at what does your ideal client, your dream client, your tribe, what do they need from you? Like, what are they looking for? I can be informative about a whole bunch of different topics. And I know a lot of you watching have a lot of areas of expertise and experience, but what does your tribe want to learn from you? And honestly, that comes from them most of the time. The questions they're asking you. A lot of my initial products came from people commenting on my blog or commenting on my Facebook page, or me asking them, hey, you know, what do you guys want to know? Like, you keep saying you want to quit your job like I did, but what do you want to know about that process? And one of the first products I created, because people kept asking me, was the blogging school. And people kept asking, how did you start your blog? How did you do this? You know, how can I do it? And so it came from my tribe wanting to know that, because they wanted to do something that I had already done. And so that became a product. And from there, people were asking, okay, now I have a blog, I want to create a business from it. And so that became the Launch Your Business Bootcamp. And for me, I kind of did it backwards. I came up with the course, and then I was like, I should make a book out of it. But by the time I was ready to actually distill everything that I knew into a book, I had run the course multiple times within my tribe. And then the book just kind of made it even more of a branded thing. Like, Launch Your Business is a program of happy Black women, and you come to her if you want to be happy, successful, and free, travel the world, quit your job. There's a lot of different programs, but the way that I teach it is not like anybody else teaches it. So everything that I've sold, that I've taught, has come directly pretty much from my community, and tweaking and figuring out what they need based on their feedback from me. A lot of people are sitting there, and, you know, I'm not going to call anybody out, right? It's just, you have to know, if you're that perfectionist that's sitting here and watching this summit and you're like, man, I have all these ideas, and you're trying to get it perfect, you got to put it out there so you can get feedback from your tribe. Launch Your Business has been tweaked and redone so many different times in service to my students. And so Launch Your Business became like the main program that I could offer to people to actually get them that transformation that I had, which was to be able to quit your job and have the freedom to travel the world.
I love that. And, you know, I really like, there's so much good stuff here that I hope people can get through osmosis and from us sort of pointing it out. How, like, people are reaching out to you through your blog, and then ultimately they're asking you, you know, how did you start your blog and start to grow this community? That catalyzed one of the first trainings that you enrolled people in. And so I think a big part of this role as leaders, as thought leaders, authors, and entrepreneurs isn't always just about, like, how can I get on a soapbox and tell people about something I know about? It's really asking and being responsive to what people that are following you for whatever reason, or a part of your community for whatever reason, big or small, want to know, want to learn, and that you can help them with. I mean, another, I guess, a point in action, you know, right after people register for the Book Business and Brand Building Summit, I set 4-minute delay timer, and then an email that says, hey, what's your #1 question about writing a book, getting it out, and building your business and brand? And I literally am sitting up responding to every single person. Hundreds of people have written about it. It's so illuminating, which is wonderful, because I get to bring all of that to bear on all the interviews that I'm doing from here on out. And it just goes to show it doesn't have to be about you, right? It doesn't have to be like, I'm so cool, you should listen to me. It's like putting yourself out in a way through your brand, doing Rosetta's brand exercise, getting clear on what you want to stand for in the market, and then being a resource.
Yeah.
That show up and like the way that you're doing what you do.
Yeah. And just to kind of catalyze it, it's like the first step is figuring out what you want to put out into the world. And then the next step is listening to what the world is saying back to you, so that you can move forward in the next stage of your brand and in your business.
And yeah, absolutely. And so it becomes like a feedback process that, you know, has sort of, I see in your case, has scaled up to live events and destination mastermind retreats, and a whole, I think, a year-long or a half a year-long coaching and mentorship.
Yeah.
And it's just now, I think your brand is like been fully elaborated. You've got all the bases covered, right? Online training programs, community, live events, coaching, destination retreats. I mean, I'm curious actually, what's next for you? I mean, since last year with Launch Your Business Live, and fast forwarding to now and the growth rate, what's exciting you these days?
Well, it's always listening to my community. So right now, really looking at how else can I help my community transform in the way that they want to transform? The problem that a lot of entrepreneurs have is that they're always trying to look for the next thing that they can do out there, and they're looking at what everyone else is doing, and they forget to look within their community. They forget to look within their tribe. You know, most of the people watching this, I hope you have an email list, you know, so with your email list, you can ask them all types of questions. Every year I do some type of survey, some type of way to get feedback from people. And I'm always looking for like, what's my next product or my next launch, whatever it is. I'm looking to them to see what other needs do they have to be able to become that happy Black woman that they want to be. And now it's like ongoing support and accountability that everyone is really asking for and needing, because, you know, you guys know, once you take a course or once you listen to a training, you go off on your own and then you get stuck. So we really want to create like an ongoing, all the time community that people can join, be a part of, and kind of jump in wherever you are in your journey, whether you're just in the beginning trying to figure out what is your vision, what is your purpose, what is it that you want for your life that you haven't accomplished thus far, and then really figuring out where do they want to go within all the products that I have to offer. All the products that I have, literally, they are to serve the same transformation. So if I could sort of bridge the gap for people who are watching and trying to figure out, you know, oh, you know, it's going to be all this work to get to a six-figure or multiple six-figure business, the key is to focus on the transformation that you want to provide for your tribe, for your clients. And don't deviate from that, because they're coming to you for that purpose. So when I talk about Launch Your Business, that program, the name of the transformation is in the freaking program. It says launch your business. I'm going to help you launch your business. And I can do that in multiple different ways. Obviously, number one, you can read my book. That is probably the easiest way, the most low cost way to get a sense of how I teach people how to launch their business. I don't teach how to do a 30-page boring business plan. I just don't. That's not how I have built my business. So I don't teach that. I only teach what I know. So you can start with the book. Then you can take my 6-week online course, my Launch Your Business Virtual Bootcamp. And you can go step by step with actual training modules and, you know, go deeper into that process. Then you can come to our live events and you can learn immersive in an immersive environment for 3 days and really be forced to do the work. And, you know, if you want more support after that, we have our mastermind programs, and you can be together with us for a year, 6 months, whatever you need, and actually get your business off the ground and growing and making money. So for most people, whatever you have the idea for your book is actually $1 million business already. If you just extend it to all these different modalities that I know Jesse and the different speakers are talking about, and then you can figure out, okay, what's next? I do not recommend that authors or aspiring authors try to go from one thing to one thing to one thing, trying to, you know, build their 6-figure business, but go really deep in the transformation that you're providing for your tribe. If it is, you know, to help people live a healthy lifestyle, you don't need to go off into like productivity, you know, until you've gone deep into that. If your book has a title, that title could be a course, it could be a live event, it could be a retreat series, it could be a mastermind program, and only then should you look at, okay, what's next? Because it's not time for most people. If you haven't made 6 figures with your brand, like associated with your book, then there's still work for you to do. You haven't tapped everything yet.
I love that. I love what your quote there. I'm going to pull that out, that your book is already a 7-figure business, and you just need to fully realize that in the world by focusing on the different ways that you provide transformation and service and support to other people. Just makes it so much easier to think of it in those terms instead of like, what's the next marketing funnel? And like, it's so easy. It's so easy. One of the things I want to dispel over the course of this whole summit is that it can be a lot easier than people have tried to make it. And it also doesn't happen overnight. I mean, you hear and see Rosetta now has a diverse, thriving business. But as she said, it started from a blog of her embodying what I imagine is much that same message, much of that same lifestyle and so forth early on. And it's just evolved and grown with interaction and support for her community. That's the same can be true for you.
Yeah.
And you know what I'd actually love to touch on is, you know, and I'm so glad to have you on this summit, I really am, is, you know, like if people look at happy Black woman, obviously it's inclusive for one set of people. And what's been your experience of, if there's any contrasting, and people saying like, I want to be part of your community, but do I fit in? Or do people follow your journey, and is it just anybody can come along for the ride, but that's the name of it? Because I know a lot of people may be worried about, like, I'll say this, a lot of people think my book's for everybody, right? I can help everybody. But you're very clear on helping a specific type of people. And it's a deep well, right? So even if it's something that may seem like you're excluding certain other people, is actually a wealth of opportunity. Maybe you can speak about.
Yeah, that's a great question, and something that people share a lot in the beginning stages of building their business. You know, just to give some context, Happy Black Woman is actually my second business. My first business I did full-time for 3 years doing nonprofit consulting. So both of my business have had specific groups that I have geared towards. It was nonprofit leaders, you know, not corporate leaders, not any leaders, it was nonprofit leaders. And now it's, you know, Black women who want happiness, success, and freedom. And a lot of people get worried about excluding people. And I have to just share that when you are in that worry state, you're really in a scarcity mindset versus an abundance mindset, because there are so many people on this planet that you can serve that are within whatever group you identify, that, you know, you can make $1 million, you can make $1 million, depending on what you're selling, you can make $1 million or 6 figures or whatever it is with a handful of people. You don't need all the people in the world to buy your thing. And what I found is that it has been much easier for me to sell my services, even from a nonprofit business and with my Happy Black Woman tribe, because I've identified who my work is for. People, especially because we're branding and we're building our businesses online so much these days, people are looking at your website, they're looking at your Facebook page, they're looking at your book on Amazon, and they're wondering, like, is this for me? Because there's so many other books out there to choose from, so many other communities people can join, and they're wondering, is this for me? You know, Jesse's book was like, you know, the entrepreneur, you know, it's like every entrepreneur, but it's the lifestyle entrepreneur, someone who wants a specific lifestyle. And so he can like grab all those people really quickly. And it's the difference between someone having to kind of work for the sale, like work so hard to prove yourself and make yourself stand out, and just make yourself stand out by virtue of who you're serving and who you're choosing to serve. I was reading some posts about some guy who teaches entrepreneurship only to a certain religious group. I don't know if it was Christian or Muslim or whatever. Anyway, you know, people are like, wow, why would you exclude people? But there's enough, you know, of whatever that group is to make a successful business. And the thing about it is your tribe, they want to belong. And they're never going to tell you that. People are never going to tell you that I'm handing you my credit card because I want a group to belong to. But that is the truth. We live in a world that is so isolated now. We don't talk to our neighbors as much anymore, at least in the US. We don't, you know, go out as much as we do. We're stuck to our screens and all that. People are looking for a place to belong. They're looking for a tribe, and they're looking for a leader like you who could put their foot down and say, you know, my work is for X, and I'm taking a stand for those people. And you will not have any competition if you do that. I do not have any competition. I am the happy Black woman.
I love it. I love it. This is so gold. And I, you know, one of the things I'm sort of taking away from what you're sharing is that it's okay and maybe even preferable to say no.
Yes.
Say, okay, maybe I'm not for you. You don't have to try to appeal to everybody. And in fact, you do a great deal of harm to yourself in doing so. It's like Rosetta pointed out, you know, if my book isn't just called The Entrepreneur, it's Lifestyle Entrepreneur. And I'm very clear that that's not the same at all as a venture-backed entrepreneur, a Silicon Valley entrepreneur. There's a lot of kinds of entrepreneurship. And if somebody's trying to make a choice, in my case, between my book or other books out there like Lean Startup or something, then it's the positioning by having it speak to a
Yeah.
pretty well-defined audience has been nothing but a benefit.
Yeah. And the thing is, people can still choose to invest in your work if they just gravitate toward you. I have white women and men in my events all the time because they just resonate with my personality, with what I teach. And I always say, as long as you don't mind being surrounded by a bunch of positive Black women, then come on in. Everybody is welcome into the club.
Your community is so great. After that event, I've had some phenomenal conversations with people in your community about writing and publishing, and I'm always happy to just talk to them because they do. I see the commonality. I think you've really nailed it with your brand when you can see the common threads between somebody in that person's community, and they proudly say, you know, every time somebody writes me, they say, "Hey, it's me from Rosetta's Happy Black Woman community."
Yes,
I know. And thanks for like wearing the badge of honor.
yes, it's very cool. It definitely makes you like a category of one. And so for people who are like scared to do that, this is your opportunity to really not have to go through the years of struggle that many entrepreneurs go through because they're scared to pick a group, scared to put their foot down, scared to say what it is they really want to do and who they really want to help. You don't have to go through that.
Yeah, maybe you can share, I think on a very related point, like for people that are now getting it, that, you know, really being a leader is about leading from the front and embodying and espousing the ideas that you want to share, as well as focusing on how you can serve specific people that you want to be in your community, your audience, your customers and your clients and your readers. And perhaps there's something to be said about, you know, personality type or personal preference in which way you begin really building out your brand. For you, as a blog, something that I'll just speak from my own experience, and I want to get your take on this, is like, even though I've written a book, I'm quite clear that writing, actually typing words, is not my strong point.
Right.
And once I understood that speaking, being on video, doing interview format type of stuff was my area of strength, I was like, how can I just circle the wagons around something that really helps express my own brand, I guess, in the best way possible, but it's not for everybody, right? So maybe you can talk about how do you choose between a blog or a podcast or a live event or a mastermind?
Yeah, well, definitely, I'll because as an author, content is, you know, believe it or not, you've already written, you know, 50,000 words or however many words of content in your book, but you're going to need even more content to promote it and to promote your brand. And you get to decide, the good news is you get to decide what kind of content you want to put out there. My strength is writing. A lot of people, that's not their strength. And I get that. So I always tell my clients that pretty much these days we've got 4 different types of content that you can use to build your brand and promote your business. Number 1 is writing. So you can do that through a lot of different ways, primarily through your blog. But also, you know, writing is still when you're posting on social media, when you're making a Facebook post. That is short form writing. And most people already do that on their personal Facebook page. So don't think of it like you always got to be writing a blog post and you don't know how to pull it together. But short form writing is still on Facebook, where you're actually making a post. Number 2 is video. So video is huge as a content. You know, I have resisted video for so long because my strength is writing. But for some people, they just get on video. My accountability partner is like this. I'm like, why don't you just write a blog post? She's like, that'll take too long. I'll just make a video. And so she gets on video and it's brilliant. Like she, you know, puts even more value almost than even a blog post because she just rattles off, you know, nuggets of wisdom in that format. So video is huge. If you are especially very extroverted and you know, you have a lot to share off the cuff, you can do videos every day. And now we have Facebook Live and Periscope to make it even easier. And even I've dived into the video content creation and my tribe is loving it. And I'm like, okay, so all I do is I do the Facebook Live video and then I put it on my blog so other people can see it. So that's another way. The third way is audio. So audio content is definitely from a podcast standpoint. And you don't have to have a big podcast. You can have a podcast that's on iTunes and Stitcher and Google Play and all that. But you can also just create a podcast by uploading your audio to SoundCloud. And you can have a podcast that way, just so that your tribe can hear your voice. Hearing someone's voice is a very intimate form of communication. Reading someone's words is obviously very intimate. That's why we all love books and, reading articles. But hearing the voice behind the words is very intimate. And of course, seeing your face, we're almost dating at this point, you can see me, we're having a conversation.
I can just reach out and
reach out and touch. Exactly. And then the last way is images. So with pictures. So especially if you have a brand or a business that really lends itself to photos, images, fashion, beauty, kids, photos and images.
Food.
Photography, food. Yeah. You can have a blog that's full of images. Your Instagram is going to be full of images. Your Facebook is going to be full of images. And you just need to write that one little line and people will get it. So you have a lot of options when it comes to building your brand and content. So you can pick between one of those four, which one might be right for you.
Yeah, I think maybe a good guidepost is like when you were talking about with your accountability partners, like, I'll just make a video.
Yeah.
I'll be hearing an echo, but I'll just roll with it. And she's like, yeah, I'll just make a video. And you're like, oh my God, doing video. I'd rather just write a blog post.
Yeah.
Just whatever it is that feels like work or feels like an effort, then that's probably a guidepost that it's not the first channel that you bite off. Because I remember in conversation with you, Rosetta, you're like, I'm actually pretty introverted. And I was like, you're kidding me? You're like on stage in front of 100 people and rolling a group. And she's like, no, it's true. And the funny thing is that once you just continue down this road and elaborate and expand out the different ways that you serve people and communicate and build your audience, you wind up, one day you look around and somebody else meets you and experiences you, and you can get that reflection back of like, for all I know, you're 100% extroverted in that environment.
Right, exactly.
And it doesn't have to be all the time, right? After your event or after a big public thing, you can still make plenty of time for solitude or what have you. It's just about offering up a piece of yourself in a different context in support of your community and audience and clients. Would you agree?
Yeah, totally. Definitely I am an extreme introvert, but that doesn't mean that I can't build a business. A lot of people ask me, I'm introverted, I'm shy, can I still have a successful business? And the answer is yes, because you get to choose how you communicate with people. You don't have to be talking to people all day long. Jesse loves it. He's emailing people all day long. I don't do that. I have a team that does my, that because it exhausts me. It really drains me. So I need to, reserve my energy for, high touch things. You get to choose. That's the whole beauty of this whole thing is as an entrepreneur, you get to make the rules. You're not following someone else's employee handbook and punching the clock. You get to decide how you, do your business. And so on the revenue side, on the product side, as an author, you're looking at this, you're listening to Jesse and you're like, yeah, I'm not going to make $1 million from books maybe, but I want to have some products associated with it. You need to do the same kind of evaluation into what way you want to make money, what kind of products and services you want to offer. As an extrovert, of course, you're probably going to want to do live events. My friend, my accountability partner, she's a total extrovert. She wants to do everything live, everything on video. And me, when I teach my courses, it's more on a webinar where there's slides and I'm talking. And so I sell a lot of my courses that way. I love to teach. I love to break down, all of the steps that are in my book. And again, the same steps I have in my book are the same steps in my course, the same stuff I teach at the event, the same stuff I teach in my mastermind program. So I love working with groups because it allows me to spread my energy with more people to serve them. So I love doing group courses. I love doing, group coaching programs. I don't do a lot of one-on-one coaching. Most of the things that I do are really group-based. So you get to decide how you make your money.
Yeah, which is why it's, an extra honor to have you on a video interview for the summit.
Yes, it's always a growth process, Jesse.
I couldn't help but laugh because somebody built a whole brand called the Introvert Entrepreneur, and there's a book out there. And I was laughing because at one point they'd reached out to me, was like, hey, would you like to be a guest on the show? they invited me on their podcast, and then they looked around and saw some stuff of me online, and they uninvited me. It was only the only times. And I was like, I can laugh about it now. It's whatever. But like, I saw the way you responded to some comments, and I saw this video you made, and I was like, look, I've done my personality test. I'm 92% extroverted. So like, maybe I'm not, unless you want a counter point of view, I'm not the introvert entrepreneur, but it's a great brand. And clearly people can identify with that, which just goes to show that almost anything can be built into a brand if you're willing to put in the work.
Yes.
If it has a personal resonance and sense of mission for you.
Totally. Yeah.
You know what? I'd love to get your opinion on, Rosetta. We're talking a lot about building a community. We're talking a lot about how a book can be a great way to introduce people to you, even if it's not the ultimate moneymaker. If somebody reads your book, they could be curled up on a sofa at home, and it's like you're there with them, right? But what are, and of course that then elaborates into the different ways that they can work with you and experience with you. But in terms of community, you've mentioned your accountability partner, and I know that you yourself invest heavily in your own growth and development. Maybe you can talk about community from the holistic perspective, not just the one you've created, but the ones you're a part of and that help up-level your growth, because I think that's an important consideration for every author and entrepreneur.
Totally. I believe wholeheartedly that if you're going to lead a community, a tribe, you need to be a part of one yourself. Number one, just like for basic, because you need support in this journey. You don't want to be a leader who's walking alone, because there are certain things that come up that you need to connect with other people on. So I have so many different people on my support team, but definitely being a part of a mastermind community is something that I've had for the past 2.5 years, being a part of a high-level mastermind. And when I say high-level mastermind, I do not mean these free Facebook groups that people are going into and you're just trying to figure out who's your, who could be your buddy and all of that. But like people who invest money to work with a mentor. And, there are so many business coaches out there who have mastermind programs, and it's really a matter of who resonates most with you. I have my own mastermind, and, people who come into it, they really want to be a part of a community. So you need to have that for yourself. The difference between connecting with someone in a high-level mastermind and a low-level mastermind is that they are invested in their growth and success, and they're going to do the same for you. So that's important. I have an accountability partner that I talk to every week. And when I say accountability partner, meaning that we report to each other, because as an entrepreneur, you don't have a boss to report to. You don't have a supervisor to report to. I can just sit out on my porch all day long and do nothing and drink Mai Tais, and it would be fine. The only thing that would suffer, right, is my bank account, because I'm not doing any work. So I have this call every Monday with her, and we've been accountability partners for almost 3 years now. It's crazy. And if you just look at the correlation, right, my business revenue has doubled every year for the past few years. And it's because I've been in a high-level mastermind and I've had an accountability partner. And the reason why I think that's so important, especially for authors who are building brands, is that if you continue to seek counsel and get advice and support from people who are around you, they're not going to be able to give you that high-level advice and support that you need to go to the next level. Your family, they're just proud that you wrote a book. Oh, that's a great book. Everyone's going to read it. You're going to be on Oprah. They have no idea what goes into.
They're going to love, if they love you, they're going to love whatever you do, regardless.
Exactly. They're not going to give you any constructive feedback. They have no idea how much work and the strategy that's involved, from taking a book to actually, a viable business that can, have you quit your job and retire your spouse and put your kids through college and all of that. They don't have that mindset because they haven't done it. So what's going to be really important in this process is to get into a community of people who have done it and who are doing it, because that's going to move you forward so much faster than you could do on your own.
That is so true. I mean, and when we talk about high-level mastermind, I've personally taken part in 2 year-long mastermind/coaching training programs that were at $20,000.
Yeah.
And I know that you've invested even more than that in your own development. And, when people hear that, oh my God, $20,000, you could buy a car for that. Here's the thing, and Rosetta touched on it. I just want to underscore it, is that that's an investment in yourself. And it's also a reflection to the people in that group of your level of commitment. I mean, the conversations I've had and the friends I've made out of those programs, one, I take their advice much more to heart because they paid the ticket entry too, right? They're as committed, and that counts for a lot. And it also makes you, I mean, I'll speak for myself, it's made me open to receiving new ideas or trying different strategies that I might otherwise have not even paid attention to, because I'm paying somebody who I admire to help guide me. And there's something really important about staying humble, even while acting truly as a leader. And I see that as just like a spectrum, and you're always somewhere in between. There's people that are a few steps or a few years behind you that you're able to help and serve. There's people that are a few, months, years, 6, 7, 8 figures ahead of you that can help you and help you learn and grow. And just being conscious of that is another way to circumvent a common pitfall I see, is people thinking they have to do it all themselves, or that they have to grow this whole community and it's just them at the top and there's nothing above it. It's just simply not the case in reality.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that we haven't touched on a lot in this conversation yet is like, what does it take to build a successful book brand and business? And there are a lot of people out there who are going to, really tell the fairy tale that you can do it all on a shoestring budget and you're not going to have to invest anything. You can do it for free and all these different things. And that's not true. And if you're watching this, there's so many people who may be watching this, but I want to speak to the person who you have a book inside of you, and that book is very connected to your purpose in life. Maybe you have a story that you've been wanting to tell, or a process that you've learned that can change lives and can change the world. And you just have not made that commitment that you're going to get it out there in a big way. You're sitting on it because you're afraid. What I carry with me and what allows me to make these decisions, like investing in a $20,000 mentorship, or even I spend $100,000 on mentorship, the money, what I am clear about is that my purpose is priceless. My purpose is priceless. Jesse and all the other guests are here giving you the nuts and bolts and the strategies and the how-to. I'm here to really get you back into alignment with, why are you waiting to fulfill your purpose? If you need to invest in getting a cover made for your book, do it. Because if you don't do these things, you're not going to be able to get it out into the world. And you literally could die with that story still inside of you, with that transformation still inside of you. And your family is packing up all of your stuff after you're dead. And they're like, oh, wow, here's that book that mom always meant to write. And not to be morbid about it or harsh about it, but sometimes we do need a little tough love. And I do say this because I love you as a fellow creator and as a fellow, author and a fellow business owner that's been walking this path. And I just had to get clear with myself, like, what is the legacy I want to leave on this world? You don't know when you're going to die. And a book is a beautiful way to leave that legacy at the very minimum, right? Just to get the book out there so that generations to come can read it. I mean, I have books, you have books on your bookshelf that people wrote and they're long gone, right? But their legacy still lives on. And the question you have to ask yourself is, what are you willing to put on the line so that you can leave behind a contribution to future generations? And when you think of it that way, there's no amount of money that's too big for you to spend on it.
Oh, I love that. And I think that really speaks to the heart of the value of a book in the bigger scheme of things. Who knows what technology will be like in 50 or 100 years. Online training programs we have now, we'll see. Mastermind groups form, they dissolve. You stay friends afterwards. But a book is something that's truly eternal. I mean, I just made a post and I mailed my whole list. I'm a huge fan of Marcus Aurelius, who wrote a book called Meditations 2,000 years ago. And thank God he did, because that is some real wisdom that has literally survived the millennia, thousands of years. It's still good. So that's what's at stake when you're willing to put down on paper what you know is inside of you that wants to come out. And as you've been hearing Rosetta share, as you're going to hear throughout the whole course of this summit, it's one part of the big picture, which is your leadership, your identity, the community and the people that you serve, the book is just a great foundational cornerstone within that. So that's pretty powerful. And I mean, why don't you take us home, Rosetta, if you have any final thoughts, and then please let everybody know how they can become Happy Black Woman or honorary Happy Black Woman.
Okay, well, I'm gonna leave you with an assignment. I was a college professor, an adjunct college professor for a few years, and I just can't let people leave without an assignment. So I've given you hopefully some useful strategies so far in this conversation, and hopefully some inspiration, right? This is my brand: informative, inspiring, and motivational. So hopefully I've done all three of those with you today. But what I want you to do is, no matter where you are in your process of building your book, your branding, your business, I want you to go out there right now and create some piece of content that affirms what we talked about today, that your purpose is priceless. And whether it is a Facebook post to say, you know, here I am, I'm excited to be writing a book about XYZ, or I just wrote a book about XYZ. Some of you may not know that I have a book about XYZ. Here's where you can check it out. And today I was just inspired about my purpose, and I realized that I have so much to share with you, so stay tuned. It's a piece of content on your blog, on your Facebook, something where you can just affirm or reaffirm to yourself that your purpose is priceless, and that this is going to be the first day of the rest of your life as you become a leader of your tribe. And I just want you to do it publicly, not just in your journal, because if you get that inspiration, you don't do something about it, it disappears. So that's my assignment for you, is to create some piece of content publicly to share with people about your purpose. All right, so.
I love that. And I would add, you know, one, go find Rosetta online, Happy Black Woman on Facebook, wherever social media you have, wherever you share and make this public declaration. This will serve you immensely. And cite Rosetta Thurman. And if you're up for it, say you heard it on the Book Business and Brand Building Summit. And Rosetta, I don't know if you're aware of this, but since this is a pre-recorded interview, but this is being released on day one of the summit. So this is a great way to kick off the Book Business and Brand Building Summit with a call to action, you stepping into your role as leader and just embracing and sharing publicly, which is the important part.
Yes.
The beginning or the continuation of your journey with your book, your business, and your brand.
Definitely. Well, the best way for people to learn more about my work and to get connected with me is to go to my website at happyblackwoman.com. There you will not only be able to sign up for my free gift I have there, my life mapping workbook. It really gets you clear on what you want your life to look like, because it doesn't make sense for you to build a business, a brand, and a book if it's not going to feed the life that you want, if it's not going to serve the life that you want for yourself. It's just going to be another job. So I take you through that, but also you can go to my website, happyblackwoman.com, and see how I have branded myself, how I promoted my book, how I promoted my business, and how I connect with my tribe. For those of you who may just be starting out, I'm honored to be a leader for you. I'm honored to be a virtual mentor for you, so you can see how I do it. And if you want to connect, you can always do it through my website.
I love that. Thank you so much, Rosetta, for coming on. And I encourage everybody to take you up on that opportunity to not only learn from you, but learn by virtue of what you're doing. I love your branding, your design, your pictures. Like, you have a very good cohesive brand, and it's thriving. I think last time I checked your Facebook page, it was like 350,000 plus people on there. So the word is out.
The word is out. Thank you so much, Jesse, for having me, and good luck to all of the authors on the summit.
Absolutely. And if you guys want, speaking of community and the power of accountability, you are invited to join with a VIP Author Success Pass, which gives you, we're building a community right here throughout this summit. I'm committed to supporting everybody who's ready to step up and finally get that book out of your head, into the world, and onto the bestseller charts. So you can grab that Author Success Pass, join our private Facebook group. I've been replying to all of your emails with that answer to the one thing that's really on your mind, actually giving an answer and citing additional resources. I'll continue to do that. And here you have it, people. Launch your business. Rosetta Thurman. Get a copy of the book. I mean, this book will serve you just as Rosetta has sought to do on this interview, on this discussion. Thank you so much. We'll see you on a future interview. and I hope you are enjoying the Book Business and Brand Building Summit.
Bye, everybody.